And welcome to the Champ Show. I am your co-host Luke Dodd with Isaiah Davis, and we are going to be having Josh Curray on the show in a little bit. He is a former long snapper from Tusculum. Let's get into it.
Alrighty, we have Josh Curray calling in from Murfreesboro, former Tusculum pioneer long snapper. How are we doing today, Josh?
Good. How about yourself?
We are doing great. We actually have Lammy, Luke here as well. If you guys don't know, Luke was not in the last episode. Had something come up when we interviewed, I think, Ben Harris. But we have Josh Curray today. So we got some stats because we over here at the Champ we do some research. But we're like kind of Wikipedia, so it's not all correct. So tell me if something's wrong. So Josh Curray from Oakland High School, now graduated from Tusculum. Long snapper, you are 6 foot, 200 pounds. Is that correct?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay.
It's like about.
What's the real height? Are we faking the height over here at Tusculum?
Well, the real height's like 5'11" and a half.
So you just round up.
Yeah, you have to round up.
Yeah, I'm 6 foot. 5'4". We kind of round up.
Well, I mean, 5'4" might be pushing a little bit.
Well, no, over here we round up from 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I'm about 6 foot. I mean, you got me on the weight for sure, but I got you on the height.
We'll just have to see about that next time I see you. Then
we might have to run a little Oklahoma drill. All right. So I just realized I did not know this was something. You won the Ironman award for 2 years of not missing summer workouts. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So does basically everybody get that?
I mean, pretty much. I think that was for Oakland High School. High school. Yeah. I don't think that was for Tusculum. Because, I mean, during the summer, we're at home.
Yeah, that does make sense. So you were invited to Cole's National Scholarship Camp. I didn't even know.
Yes. Yeah.
So is that literally just long snapping?
Cole's is it's long snapping, kicking, and punting. They have their own camps.
So they're not just clothes, apparently.
I went to a few of their camps, ranking camps. That's where I got my 4.5-star rank.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was like, goodness, how does recruiting work in like long snapping? Because it's like, if I was a coach, I wouldn't even know how to recruit long snapping. How does that work?
A lot of it is just who you know, pretty much, and it is interesting because you see a bunch of kids who are like relatively the same rank, but like me, I went to a D2 school, and other kids who are like technically ranked lower than me, they went to like FCS D1 school or something. But that's just because they knew somebody at that school.
Yeah. So
it's a lot of just who you know for a specialist.
Okay. So is FCS D2 or how does that work? Like, does it go like Division 1, Division 2, then FCS or?
FCS is Division 1. It's just a lower.
Okay.
Like FCS, which is the smaller D1 schools, and you have FBS, which is like your Alabamas and Georgias and stuff.
Okay.
Those are the bigger schools.
So you were the
FCS is still D1.
So FCS still D1. Okay.
Yeah. I was in Division 2 at Tusculum.
Okay. So, and that was in the country. But once again, like you said, it's kind of all around, I guess, with what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So we were looking at some college signing day stuff, and this is what the article says. Pam Curray kisses her son on the cheek after Oakland's Josh Curray signed to play football at Tusculum University during National Football Signing Day on Wednesday, February 5th, 2020 at Oakland High School. Josh Curry's dad, Tim Curray, and sister Sam Curray watch.
Yeah. I can't remember if they had said something about one of the other pictures, but there's a picture of me and my mom and then 2 other close friends of mine who we all signed that same day, so it was all of us and our moms kissing our cheeks. That was the moms. That was their thing that they wanted to do.
Yeah. Hey, I will say you have an awesome mom. Your mom is super awesome.
I would agree with that statement.
So if you guys don't know, I actually went to one of Josh's games at Tusculum. I had to wake up like 5 o'clock or something, but it was much worth it. And this is when I did YouTube, and I brought my GoPro to vlog it. And good old Chad over there, I was gonna film on like the bleachers, and then he just said, "Well, we'll let you on the field." I mean, it was still D2, but that was awesome. And like
I remember after the game, my mom had said something about that before I went and started talking to you. So I'm pretty sure, just because I remember seeing you standing over there, standing behind us.
I think I remember there was like it was almost like a Philly special play, and like the quarterback scored, and I just dapped him up, and I was like, wow. I'm rocking the Tusculum University jersey right now.
Oh yeah.
I just want you to know that number 18. I have no idea who he is, but I have his jersey.
Well, you're representing anyway, so
yes.
That still counts.
Not a lot of people do that for Tusculum. I'm here.
Yeah, that is something that was so at Oakland. Like, I mean, obviously you've seen Oakland football games and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So going from like packed out stadiums in high school to a smaller D2. I mean, Tusculum's private also. It's a private school, so that doesn't really help it as much either.
Mm-hmm.
Going from packed out stadiums in high school to barely hitting like 50% attendance, it was definitely something I had to get used to.
So we had Graham Keating on like 2 weeks ago. I never asked him, like, do they pack out? They probably don't, but like I know they play at Allegiant Stadium, which is where the Super Bowl is being played. You know if they pack out, or at least do they have a pretty big attendance? More than MTSU's is what I would ask.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen like their attendance, but if I had to guess, probably because it is at the NFL stadium.
Yeah.
Plus, it's Las Vegas, so.
That is true. They have a lot.
Yeah, there's all kinds of people down there.
So now we're gonna ask you some questions. One, why did you choose your college, Tusculum?
There's a couple of factors that usually go into play whenever someone chooses a school. Like personally, that was the cheapest option for me with my scholarship, and the fact that it was still in state.
Yeah.
And they did offer me the most money. So that was just kind of the reasons why I chose it. I mean, it's not super far from Murfreesboro. It's about 3.5, 4 hour drive, depending on traffic. So it wasn't too far, but at the same time, I wasn't like still really close.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a last minute decision also, because they had gotten in touch with me, I think like January before signing day. That was a last minute visit, and I just went up and met everybody, and they were all super nice. And also, they didn't have a long snapper their previous season, so I was like, if I went, I could fight for the starting spot. So I was like, might as well.
Yeah.
And then went and started all 4 years I've played. So
did you have anybody behind you at long snapper?
Yeah. So freshman year, my first year there was actually 3 of us. One had graduated high school early and was actually at Tusculum for the fall semester. So he had already been there a whole semester. And then me and someone else, we come in that next year. And there's 3 of us, and he told us that the starting spot was up for grabs. And obviously, that was when COVID was a thing, so we didn't actually play in the fall. our season got moved to the spring. So we had all fall to just kind of practice, and we snapped in front of coach and everything. And then when the spring rolled around, he told me that I had the starting spot, and so there was 2 others behind me my freshman year.
Okay.
And then, it's D2, so people leave and transfer. And then my sophomore year, I was actually the only long snapper my sophomore year, so that was an interesting year for sure. And then my junior year, I had two freshmen came in, so there was 2 others, and I kind of helped coach them up. And then last year, it was just me and one of the other long snappers. He decided to transfer and just stop playing football, so it was just me and someone else. So as you can see, it kind of fluctuates.
Yeah.
Backups and whatnot.
So you said, so when did you start playing long snapper?
Sophomore year of high school. I actually went into Oakland as an offensive lineman, and then quickly realized that I was the smallest offensive lineman. So when sophomore year, I was about halfway through sophomore year, and I realized that I was good friends with some of the specialists, the older specialists at Oakland, and he told me that one of them was a senior and he was graduating, and there was another long snapper. So the rest of sophomore year, I went and practiced with him when we had practice, and I started learning, and then continued from then. Got better, went to camps and everything.
So you were happy about the switch over to, or how easy was it to make, or what position did you play on line?
I was a right guard.
So how much of a switch was that from right guard
It
to
went from
long snapper?
offensive lineman, you're hitting somebody every single play, doing all these kinds of drills, to long snapping, to where I practice for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then just kind of hang out.
So it's like kicking.
Yeah,
except the kickers really don't.
Yeah, like our practices, it's usually we actually practice and do some drills for about half of practice, and the other half we just kind of hang out, mess around. So I would say specialists definitely have it easier than most everybody else.
Yeah. So you choose Tusculum, and what were your other offers that you had coming out of high school?
So out of high school, another scholarship offer like Tusculum was at Bethel University. I went and did a visit there, and they offered me. And then Birmingham Southern, they're a Division III school, so they technically don't have scholarship offers. So it's mostly just really want you on the team. If you come, then you'll have a spot on the team and potentially start. And then also Morehead State, they're a Division I school, but I don't know if they still are, but when I went and took my visit, they're in a conference with Division III schools, so they weren't allowed to give out scholarship offers.
Okay.
So I really only had 2 scholarship offers.
So before you said you were visiting Tusculum, like at the very end, did you have it in your mind of like where you were going before Tusculum offered you?
Yeah, I was thinking about going to Birmingham Southern.
Okay.
Because on the visit there, everyone was really nice, and all the coaches I talked to, they really wanted me to go. So I kind of had just thought, I was like, well, if nothing else really happens, then I'll probably go try it out, see how I like it. And then I got a last minute call from a coach at Tusculum saying they want me to come on a visit. So just decided to go on a whim, and then turned out I'll be playing there for the next 4 years.
So, why did you pick your number 54?
That was the number I had in high school. All 4 years of high school, I was always number 54. And one of my best friends from high school, Jacob Curray, he was number 53. So
you one-upped him?
What?
So you one-upped him?
I wouldn't say one-upped him. I was like, well, if you're getting 53, I'll get 54. That way we would have lockers beside each other.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. So you go in order by numbers.
I didn't. So is that like normal, or is that like an Oakland thing?
I think it could have just been an Oakland thing when I was there, but at Tusculum, they just kind of gave you a locker. It didn't necessarily have to do with what number you were, but I just decided to keep my number.
So at Tusculum, do you have like a full 53-man roster, or with it being Division II, do you have like a smaller roster?
Oh gosh, we had like over 100 players.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, we had a lot of kids.
I don't remember it being that many.
Well, that's because not everybody dressed out when you were there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On home games, you always have the starters, the second string, and then sometimes, depending on the position, a third string possibly. And then usually throughout there, you have some of the other like younger kids who aren't starting or in the rotation. That they just get to go and dress out. So not everybody dresses out each game.
So theoretically, if somebody was to get first string and second string injured, and your third string wasn't dressed out, at that point, once your first string gets injured, do you go tell that person to dress up or what?
Probably that next week they would have a couple more players dressed out for that position.
Okay.
If like the first and second string got hurt. But if it's like the game of, then I've seen if somebody gets hurt and then someone else, like their second string gets hurt, and there's not really another guy. Sometimes they ask some people like play different positions during the game, especially if it's offensive linemen, just because they pretty much know what to do for every position on the offensive line.
Yeah. So in high school, obviously you go to Oakland. Oakland's been, I don't know, how recently has been Oakland been dominant, I guess?
I actually think they didn't win the state championship this past year.
Yeah. I think they lost to like some Houston school that apparently is like the next like best thing is what I'm hearing. I think their baseball team is pretty good is what I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't win they beat us pretty bad, I think. I did not go to that game. I went to a Preds game that night. And I'm glad I didn't go to the Oakland game because they lost and it was raining.
I saw that. I think I tried to watch a little bit of it while I was at school.
Just couldn't see anything on the camera.
No, not really. I just saw a bunch of rain.
See a little blur, red jersey going by?
Yeah, pretty much. But I think before last year, I think they actually won. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
But when I was playing, we got sophomore year. Well, I think my freshman year, I think we went to state and lost. Sophomore year, we went to state and lost. Either we went to state and lost, or we lost in the semifinals to Maryville. And then my junior year, we won state. And then senior year, we lost in the semis to Maryville.
Gotcha. And Maryville's like I know Graham has talked about, we don't talk about Maryville.
Oh, man, yeah. It's very clear that for the most part, especially the last few years, it's either Oakland or Maryville who win state. And
Yeah.
Usually, whoever wins the Oakland versus Maryville game in the semifinals, because that's usually when we play each other in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That team, whoever wins that, usually wins.
So is Riverdale or Maryville bigger rival between you guys?
I guess it just depends, right? Like
On the
regular
circumstance of the
season,
game?
Yeah, like regular season, I'd probably say Riverdale.
Yeah.
And then playoffs, probably Maryville.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's always the biggest game.
I feel like when Oakland has been in the championship, I feel like the other team has always had just one really good player. I feel like Oakland always has like just good talent all around.
Yeah, that was always something that other players or coaches that I've heard from other teams always say, that Oakland always has like really good all around players, and that we have a lot of like depth. Like even our second strings are pretty good.
Yeah. So at Oakland, what were some of your favorite teammates you had? And I guess if you want to say some of your favorite teammates at Tusculum too as well, I guess if you want to shout some people out, I guess.
I mean, obviously my specialists, even at Oakland and Tusculum, always got to stick with those. And also, usually some of the funniest people are the offensive linemen.
That is so true.
I've noticed that at Oakland and at Tusculum.
Especially Graham. Graham's a hoot, I guess.
Graham's a big old teddy bear.
Yeah. I think he has 2 Instagram accounts. I think one of them was like Teddy Grahams or something. So I guess...
I think so. I can't remember, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think he's going to be on the NFL Honors tonight, presenting like awards or something.
Oh, really?
Because we're filming 2 episodes today, and we're going to do one about the Super Bowl, and I don't know if you heard, but apparently they're playing it at UNLV, but apparently the practice fields aren't doing too well, and I was going to see what his opinion on was, that if it was just like a kind of excuse or if it really was bad. But I was like, Graham, could you call in for like 5 minutes or something? And he was like, I'm going to be on CBS tonight. I was like, oh, yeah, I probably can't happen.
Yeah, he might not be able to do that then.
Yeah, we might have to call him during the whole thing. I don't think they're giving him a mic at all. That'd be funny though.
So, I know you had, I know you got hurt. What were they, and how hard was it?
My junior year, actually had my hamstring got pulled.
That's awful.
It was. That whole week was wild because we were going to Barton College. I can't remember if they were in North or South Carolina, but they're close to the coast. And that was when a bunch of hurricanes were coming through. And our game that Saturday actually got moved to a Thursday night. So we had an early morning Thursday morning practice, or no. I can't remember if it was Thursday morning or Wednesday morning. But no, it was Wednesday morning. We had an early morning Wednesday practice. We get extra practice in.
Yeah.
And it was cold because it was later in the season, and it was cold that morning. And we were doing special teams, and we were punting. And we always return, like I snap and then run downfield. So I snapped and I started running, and I think I ran a little too fast when it was a little too cold, and my hamstring just I felt it pop, and I started hurting, and I started limping.
Was this on turf?
No, it was grass.
Okay.
We were outside on our practice field.
Okay, I was about to say, if it's turf, we have another victim to fall to the turf curse.
Not the turf monster.
Exactly.
You know, just child.
You said what? Okay, So I forgot to ask you this question. We were talking about Oakland and Tusculum, Maryville, and Riverdale games. Do you think the rivalries in high school are better than, I guess, your Division II Tusculum rivals? Or was there any big rivals at all when you played?
So our biggest rival at Tusculum was Carson Newman.
Oh, I went
Yeah.
there with Grace Ann on a visit. I was not impressed. With Carson Newman at all. I said I am not going there. But I also did go to like UT that same day.
Yeah. I mean,
So
your standards if you went to UT that same day. I mean, that's
it's pretty
different.
it's a massive difference.
But I would say Carson Newman's probably Tusculum's biggest rival just because Carson Newman and Tusculum's like pretty close. I think it's like 20, 30 minutes away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're pretty close. So that game was always interesting.
Was there any like
to say the least.
big games or like big last plays that decided that?
Whenever I played at Tusculum, it was never really like super close. We always kind of ran the score up a little bit on them. But this last year, I would say the first half when we were playing Carson Union, it was I mean, we were still winning, but it was definitely we weren't like kind of beating them pretty good. But after halftime, we just came out and beat them.
It's all about the second half, baby.
They kind of fizzled out, yeah.
So you played long snapper in high school, switched from positions. Did you play any sports before college other than football?
Yeah, I actually played baseball a lot as well. I really enjoyed baseball. I never played for Oakland, like middle school or high school, just from personal reasons. But I always enjoyed playing baseball. I played over at Sportscom.
Oh yeah, I think I just got. My mom just signed me up for spring ball. We're about to hit 50 homers, 500 batting average. Yeah,
I always enjoyed baseball. That was fun.
Did you like it better than football at all?
I would say, I mean, I like both. But looking back on it, I kind of wish I'd like played baseball a little bit longer, even if like playing through all of high school.
Yeah.
I feel like I really would have enjoyed that, but baseball was always that was the sport I first played, and I played it pretty much all growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I never really had like a specific position. I played everywhere.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works in rec league. You just kind of throw everybody everywhere. Yeah. It feels like, unless like that player is just like absolutely dominating at that position.
Yeah. Gosh, there was one season. I can't remember. I think it was the last year I played. So I think it was like my freshman or sophomore year of high school. I can't remember what the age cutoff was for that, but I think the last year I played I played some first base. I pitched. I was a catcher and third base.
You had the all-around build
Yeah.
going on.
So I've seen my fair share of the infield.
What are some of your favorite teammates, if you have any?
Oh wait, hold up. Hold up. Luke, wrong question. Okay. Dude, number 11.
Oh. My bad. How much of
big word. Let me difference.
Yeah. Do you think D1 and D2 football is at the long snapper?
The difference between Division 1 and Division 2?
Yes.
I think like specifically position wise, it's probably decently the same, just because it is such a special position. They really just have to be good no matter where you're at, no matter what division you're playing at. But I think like, I guess training wise, like weights and whatnot, probably differs from division, because I know some long snappers that are at Division 1, and they say that they have to practice, workouts, they even have meetings. And then at Tusculum, we had the specialist specifically. I mean, we had practice, we had workouts, but we never had meetings. The only times we had meetings were Fridays before the game on Saturday and Sunday after the game.
Gotcha.
But like during the week, we never had specific meetings.
Alrighty, here we go. We got favorite NFL team.
Oh, I don't watch NFL a whole lot, but if I had to say, probably the Titans.
Tighten up.
Yeah, tighten up. Tennessee, you gotta represent.
Yes. So we got this is a very, very debated question. Right now, we have one person who's come on the podcast. They have said PlayStation. We had Graham come on. Did we have somebody else? I think it was just Graham. We're probably forgetting somebody and we didn't realize. Right now we got a split. We got between Xbox and PlayStation. Who are you rocking with?
Currently, Xbox.
Wait, does that mean you're transferring? Are you transferring over to PlayStation?
No, not PlayStation. I think sometime in the future I wouldn't mind getting like a PC, like a gaming PC.
Oh, okay. I was
But
about to say.
yeah, no, I'm with Xbox right now. The only reason I would get a PlayStation is for the Spider-Man games.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard from some people that there's like pretty hard, or at least. So with, I guess, gaming, we got the new NCAA game coming out. Are we excited for the new NCAA game?
You know, I actually never really played sports games.
No way.
On Xbox.
No way.
I know.
How do we get this guy on the podcast, Lemmy? This is crazy.
I know. I've never really, just because I think I actually was like playing whenever I come home. I'm just like, I just want to relax, play something else.
Yeah. So, we got movies or TV shows?
I'd probably go with TV shows, just because some of the recent movies I've watched haven't been too great. I don't mind a good TV show.
What is your favorite college football team besides Tusculum?
Oh, I have to say Alabama. If I say anything else, my mom might hear me and come in and yell at me or something.
How do we become Alabama fans? How does that happen?
My grandpa's from Alabama.
Okay.
So he was raised on Alabama football, and then my mom got raised on Alabama football, so that's just kind of been our team, I guess.
So are we, other than Alabama, do you think you'll watch Tusculum, or do you keep up with Tusculum at all after you've now graduated?
I'll probably, I still know a bunch of people on the team, so next semester or next year during season, I'll probably keep up a little bit.
Gotcha.
With them and see how they're doing.
So, with D2 football stadiums, they're probably not the best, but what's your favorite stadium you've ever played in? This can be throughout high school, too, if you want to, as well.
I mean, I played this last season. We actually went to Kennesaw State, and they're moving to Division 1.
Yep.
And we actually went and played there for our first game of the season last year, and that was actually really cool.
Was it packed out?
Yeah, they said it was a sold out game. So
seriously?
yeah, and while we were on the sidelines warming up and everything, they actually had all the students that were there. They ran across the field, and holy cow, that was a lot of people.
Do you know what the attendance was?
I don't know how many people were there, but
how many did it look like?
A lot. I mean, you could probably Google Kennesaw State Stadium, and then just see a picture of that. Packed.
Kennesaw State putting up more numbers than MTSU. It sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Goodness.
I would say they did.
So we've heard a few mixed answers here. Are we rocking with pregame music, or are we just sitting and contemplating?
On the bus, I usually put on some music, fall asleep.
What type of music are we listening to?
Just about a little bit of everything, pretty much.
Do you have any favorite artists?
I have one playlist I listen to the most. It's called, I have it titled as my beachin' playlist. It's a bunch of Jimmy Buffett, Kenny Chesney, Zach Brown Band, a bunch of music that I would always play at the beach. If I had to say favorite artist, probably Jimmy Buffett, rest in peace.
Yep. Oh my goodness, we're looking at the stadium on Luke's phone. Holy cow. Dude, but it looks like a rectangle.
Yeah, I don't think it was really oval, but that whole place was packed.
It almost looks like a USFL stadium.
Yeah. I remember at halftime when we went back to our guest locker room, we were walking in between it was one of the corners, the stands at one of the end zones, and the stands going down the field. A corner was open, and we were walking that way. There were so many people just walking in and out during halftime when we were walking back.
It looked like it doubles as a soccer stadium as well.
Yeah, it probably does.
What do you eat before a game?
Well, usually we get fed pregame meals before we leave. If it's a closer game, we usually just eat our cafeteria food at school. But if we're having to stay overnight or something, we usually get something catered. I know we've had Cracker Barrel once before. For breakfast one time. We've had Chick-fil-A before, I think.
I was about to say, you gotta have Chick-fil-A in there.
Yeah, we've had that a few times after games. But I usually try not to eat too much before a game. Just because sometimes if I eat too much, I usually get kind of nauseous.
Yeah, that's what Graham said. He said, I don't want to see it come back up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I still eat, but I don't eat, I usually don't finish a full plate.
Yeah.
But there'll be some people who eat 2-3 plates. I'm just I can't see how they do
that. Are those the O-linemen or?
Yeah. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen, even some running backs. I saw a running back one time eat 2.
They're getting hit. Those are the players that are getting hit the most.
Yeah.
It's how you even... I don't even know at that point. So,
yeah, no.
You've lived in Tennessee your whole life, correct?
Correct.
So if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to live? This could be several places if you want, or just one. Where are we living?
Oh gosh, that's such a...
Decide now.
I know, you put me on the spot. Man, I would say Iceland. I've always wanted to visit Iceland. It's just, I've seen pictures and videos of it. It's just, the nature and wildlife there is so cool.
So we're a nature person.
Yeah. I mean, my major in college was environmental science.
Gotcha. No idea what that means, but we're gonna curly rock with it.
All right, I can tell you later.
Alrighty, well, I guess that wraps up the show. Luke, you have any more questions?
No.
We got nothing else. Well, thank you for coming on the show, Josh. If you wanna shout out any socials, feel free to shout them out now.
I mean, my Instagram is jcurray, Curray, but I don't really do anything on it.
He's on there, guys.
I'm not too much of a social media person.
Well, in case you wanted some attention, we got you, Josh, because we're the most played Spotify's podcast of the month, right in front of New Heights. I'm kidding. I think we have like 15 plays. Guys, please send in voice messages for us to give to these athletes that we're having on here. You guys need to send in voice messages. You have any final words to the champ?
Oh, just thanks for having me. It was fun talking to you.
Thank you for coming on to the champ.
Of
Very,
course.
very, very much. Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for listening. We actually have a YouTube channel now. If you guys want to go check it out, The Champ, it should be in the link somewhere. Yeah, there's also a link to our Spotify on The Champ YouTube. Go join our Discord as well. It'll be in the description of this episode. Thank you so much for coming on, Josh. We out. We the champs. Peace.